Okay. Okay, we are officially live, so don't say anything bad now. What's up, man?
Nothing. Just
Nothing.
looking. Here we go. We are on.
There we go. Look, we already have one comment. What's up, Nick? Thanks for joining us here. We already got one downvote on this live stream before it even started, so I think that has to be like a record. Whoever you are, thank you. I just want you to know that even like downvotes help us in the YouTube algorithm. So thank you. I hope you enjoy your miserable life. And whoever you are, shout out to you. But today's chat's going to be great because this is the best live stream on the face of the planet. Samfar Podcast. Make sure you check that out if you want more of us every single week. But yeah, today we're going to hang out. We got a few things to show as far as items that we found over the course of the past week or so. And then we're going to talk about scaling your reselling business because that's something that a lot of us want to do. A lot of us don't know how to actually do it. And you and I both have unique perspectives on it. There's some aspects of scaling that you haven't done that I have done and vice versa. So We'll get into that.
Yeah.
As an icebreaker, though, if you want to roll into some items that you found recently, and we'll start there.
You got it. Yeah, let's and just to let anybody in the chat know, just ask us any questions throughout the hour. So let's go into this. I'm going to share screen. I typically always, I should say, go to the bins. So it's, once in a while I'll go to the flea market, swap meets, whatever you want to call them, and I do pretty well. But what I've been doing lately is going to the bins and doing all right. I mean, I scavenge. I just cannibalize items. I just find stuff that's pretty cool. I'm going to bring up something that just popped out the other day. Is that on the screen?
It's on the screen.
All right, neat. All right, so this is just some ink that I got. You can see it right there, $67. This is brand new. 67 plus the shipping. So all in, you're talking, 80-ish. So that's for pretty cool. All right, there it is. All right, we're done with that. Here it is. So it is legit. Look, new nib, new in box, new in package, whatever. So these type of things are just always floating around in thrift stores. How it is. They're on the back of a shelf in a thrift store. They're in the bottom of a bin. They're at a garage sale on the ground. You get them for $1, and then you flip them for 80. So you do that a lot. You'll have a good day. Let's see what else.
Yeah, real quick. One of the best days I ever had. I walked into a thrift store and pretty much the whole shelf was just covered in toners. It was like head to toe. Was it not Lenovo? I think they're all HP toners. I must have paid like $50 for all these. I ended up selling them for around $1,300 within a few days. It was insane, man. It really was crazy.
Lexmark.
Yeah, it was just wild, man. Hey Angie, thanks for being here as well. You two are awesome. She says, hey everyone, and everyone being the two people that are watching this. So it's probably just you and Nick. Nick says we're the perfect combo of our wives by our sides. It's very true. That's true. Think we owe it all to our wives. Without them, we would be miserable pricks. Like the guy that downvoted this video. Oh goodness.
I'll keep on. All right, so I'll keep on going. I'm going to share another thing that we're probably going to put on our Instagram this week. Oof. All right, share screen. There we go. I'm going to bring up a sunglass case. Here we go. I'm just going to show it to the crew. Jimmy Choo. What does this mean to you, Jimmy Choo? Anything?
Designer. I don't know much about Jimmy Choo. I do know that it's a high-end designer, but yeah.
Fancy shoes. That's all I know. Yeah. So I saw Jimmy Choo and I'm like, let me grab it. And these, so this just pops up. $30, brand new. Now, this does, the one I have, it does have the little cleaning pouch in there. So there we go. Cleaning pouch, New other sell for like $25. I mean, finding things like that is just, I love that stuff. It's just fun. All right, so there we go. So those are two things that I typically find, and I was scavenging. I was really trying hard this week because there wasn't like these great shiny objects coming out that $200, $300, $400 that were making me thrilled.
I feel you, man. It's been kind of a mundane week for me too. I haven't found really anything crazy, but I did just have a crazy sale. Let me pull this up real quick and show everyone. It's funny because you guys just checked it in, right? Like it's in the most recent box. I sent it to eBLISS.
Yeah.
And Lori just pushed this live.
Yeah.
And it's sold within like 2 hours, not even 2 hours. It was pretty freaking crazy. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, this I knew it was gonna sell well, and I knew it was gonna sell quite quickly, but I didn't expect it to sell for so much and so quickly. So okay, so this Adventure Tech jacket. So all it is a reversible Gore-Tex jacket by the brand Adventure Tech. It's, I guess, a pretty high-end brand. You can see the other side is like this kind of like dark green nighttime camo pattern or something they call it, and then the other side is the desert camo. But yeah, sold for $250 plus $3.99 shipping, literally within maybe an hour and a half. It was absolutely unbelievable. I paid $5 for it. So that is, I mean, dude, like $5 and a $250 within a couple hours legally. It can't get much better than that. Like really.
Yeah, that's what keeps you coming back for more.
Yeah, it made my day. I mean, we've had a pretty slow week. Like this week has been awful. It's been one of the worst weeks ever as far as eBay is concerned. But you know, it is what it is. So I'm very grateful for that sale. But moving into a couple things that I found, I want to talk about these things. Now, find these often. These are not that valuable whatsoever. This is maybe like a $55 to $60-ish sale, but they are in great shape. Now, the reason I wanted to mention ice skates is because a lot of people, they pass over these, even though some of them can be worth a ton of money, and they tend to sell quite quickly, especially when they're in good shape. So these, I would highly avoid getting them when they're beat up. Like check the insides, make sure they're not too worn down. Blades can be replaced. Blades obviously are sharpened and all that stuff. So I don't want to say that doesn't matter unless it's like super janky and the blade is all messed up. I would maybe avoid those unless they're really, really high end. But for the most part, these skates, $50 to $75 sales all day. They sell well locally too, especially if you're in a more of a hockey kind of town. Yeah. Being in Utah, I'll probably sell these locally because we do have quite a large hockey community locally here. But yeah, hockey stuff, a lot of it does sell well, and people don't know that there's like ice skates that are well over $1,000. So definitely be on the lookout for these things. And even some like gloves, some helmets sell well from a hockey like apparel. Yeah. Hockey sticks, like carbon fiber ones, if you could find those, they tend to do well. But yeah, and then roller hockey skates. Roller hockey stuff sells really, really well. Like if you buy like nicer quality, like Mission roller hockey skates, those tend to sell even better than ice skates for whatever reason. So that's my fun tip.
Do you ever sell figure skating ice skates? You ever try that?
No, they tend to not sell as well because usually those are a little bit more generic, run of the mill, unfortunately, whereas ice or hockey skates are a little bit more performance based and there's a little bit more money in that industry, right? Like hockey is a pretty expensive sport to get into and there's just more money in it rather than like ice skating. All you really need is like a pair of skates, and they tend to not be on the high end of the spectrum for most people because most people aren't like serious figure skaters compared to like guys who are more serious hockey players. So I've found that they tend to sell a little bit better.
I think over the years I may have sold like a handful of nice, like more smaller size figure skates and girls or women, because if you think about it, it's like you don't know if your kid's going to really want to go into this. So there's some Reidel or Reidell really good, but there's some good stuff. And that's the thing, when you source, you always have to think like, okay, this could sell. And we spoke about this on the last live. It's like you could sell this what is it called, reel to reel, but do you really want do you really want to? No pun intended,
Yeah,
really want
really.
to. But
Good pun.
and like the skates, like, okay,
Yeah.
you could ship them,
Hmm.
but you're better off, like, I think Nick asked a question, do you do a lot of local sales
Hmm.
down below? Those move. Those are
Yeah.
good. I mean, do Facebook Marketplace or something like that. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I've listed on Facebook Marketplace all the time. I love selling big stuff on there, especially now,
Yeah.
like with using you guys for fulfillment. Like I can't be shipping heavy stuff in, or things that don't fit in the bags. So I definitely am putting that kind of stuff on Facebook Marketplace more so than trying to ship it out myself, because I want to just reiterate the fact that I hate shipping. I despise shipping stuff. All I want to
Hmm.
do now is put stuff in a box and ship it to you guys, once a week and be done. I don't want to be shipping stuff individually. Like I had to ship a couple large things this week by myself that sold. It
Yeah.
makes me miserable now, dude. Like I absolutely hate it. Want to shout out Nick. Thank you for the support. One day we will have this chat overflowing, but for today, it's just a small little gang of 6 of us. But you know what? If 6 people walked into this tiny office right now, I would be super overwhelmed. So I'm very grateful for each and every one of you, and
Yeah.
I don't need a million people in this chat. So
Hmm.
thank you, though.
Seems like a lot of people are fighting who's the number one fan. We have a couple people down here.
We'll have to put them in a boxing match. Angie, I appreciate you. And yeah, the YouTube algorithm is a weird thing. How it shows things to people and how it doesn't show things to people. It's one of the best algorithms on the planet as far as audience retention. So maybe people just don't want to watch us, and that's fine. But yeah.
That's it. I mean, you could see the comments. A cozy crew, somebody, a number one fan. Ooh, In and Out
I
Burger.
love it. There we go. Cozy
Cozy.
Crew. Shout out from Jersey. There
Oh
we go.
man, another. It's probably like somebody I went to high school with. I don't know. I'll find out maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness.
So let's talk about that. We a good friend of mine just recently started selling on eBay. Actually,
Mhm,
two just started selling on eBay in particular,
mhm,
and they were just like, "How do you get started? This is intimidating. How do you do the shipping? How much
mhm.
postage?" And it threw me for a loop because
Yeah.
it's been a long time since I had to learn a platform.
Mhm.
Now, I'm biased. I like eBay. You like eBay as well. We
Yep.
each have our own reasons, and mainly it's because stuff moves and you get probably the best
Yeah.
bang for your buck in terms
Yep.
of the sales. So, so there, it is a great platform. It's intimidating. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot
Yeah.
to learn. So I told my friend, I said, listen, just it's not easy. Make
Mhm.
mistakes, get going, just list stuff. Don't look at every transaction like I won, I lost under shipping.
Yep.
And you even said that. It's like sometimes you sell stuff for $40 and then you realize that you didn't charge enough for the shipping. So
Yep.
it's a learning curve, man. So just get out there, list and learn. And it's a marathon, not a sprint, as
That's
we
it,
love to
dude.
say.
Dude, I've said it. I've said it many times on this channel, and I think I said it once on our podcast. It's like starting out as a reseller. It's like getting a thrift degree from college, right? Like you go to college, you pay for a degree, you learn a bunch of nonsense. It's the same thing with being a reseller. The first year, I expect most resellers to lose some money. You should budget in like being able to lose like a couple $1,000s if you're taking it seriously. Like I know I did. I 100% lost like probably over 2 grand on just random mistakes, things getting damaged in the mail by me not packing it right, me not charging enough, me just making bad buys in general. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with losing money as long as you're learning something, right? There's no single business in this world that doesn't lose money every single year on some aspect of growth or development. Um,
Mhm.
Nick says she's a Poshmark all the way. I make most of my
Yeah.
sales on Poshmark. That's great. Poshmark's awesome for a lot
Yeah.
of people. I personally don't like it whatsoever. I sold 10 grand worth of stuff on there, and it's not my platform. I don't like being social. I don't like that they don't give you the seller tools that, a serious seller could want. But if you have the market figured out on there and that's your thing and you want to be social, that's totally awesome. It's great. But for me, I just realized I'm a very lazy reseller. I don't want to put work into my listings. I don't want to be social. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to share my closet. I want to put stuff out there and forget about it. If someone doesn't want to buy it, then that's great. They don't have to buy it. But Poshmark makes you work way too hard. So,
I
yeah.
was just on a Clubhouse the other night, and the consensus was maybe a few years ago, Poshmark was, you would get a lot of repeat customers, maybe because
Mm-hmm.
the platform didn't have a ton of sellers.
Yeah.
But now that it's so popular, it's being saturated with a lot of sellers. So
Mm-hmm.
what comes with that is, reduction, price compression,
Yep.
not going to sell as high. And you're going to probably lose a lot of those repeat customers because of the amount of sellers out there. So
Yep.
I feel their pain. Like I think it's a learning curve with all whatever platform you're on.
100%. It's just learning it. Yeah, Andrew, you could definitely be our number one fan in Iowa. That's listen, if we have a number one fan in every single state, that'd be a dream come true. Every single fan counts so much, and we appreciate it. I sold 20 grand last year, my second year. I hate being social. I figured out most things on there. Uh,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's exactly like that's the thing. You just got to figure out each and every
right.
market. For my personal market and my demographic, I'm trying to sell to active males that are between 30 and 55 years old in those kinds of brands that they know, like, and enjoy. For the most part, those customers are going to be on eBay. They're
True.
not really going to be on Poshmark. You may have some of their wives on Poshmark looking for stuff for them, but for the most part, I found that my inventory sells a lot better on eBay. Flip
Hmm.
the world with says, "What's up, gentlemen?
What's up?
What's up, guys? How are you? Thanks for joining us."
Nice Houston family there.
There we go. I love it.
Eventually we'll pop. There's a lot of people down in Houston I would like to check in with. I,
Yeah,
I,
text.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's Chris and Stacy. I think that's what their names are. Flip the World, and they're bin shoppers,
Hmm.
and the same thing. They're scavengers. They go there, pick one or two things, look at this, boom. I mean, they make stuff happen. They work
Yeah.
hard. Like when you go to the bins, you got to sometimes you have to hustle there. It's not
Yeah.
going to, you're not going
That's
to
why I
bring
don't
in.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you came with me out here in Denver,
Yeah.
and most of it was like me yucking it up with my boys and stuff, which is a
Yeah.
blast. And when you go there for 6+ years, it's like a family.
Of course. Yeah. And when I come back to Colorado, like, I'm definitely gonna hang out with you at the bins and stuff some more. And
Yeah.
even if I have to just document it, it'll be fun. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nick wants to branch out. Can't get my groove on eBay. eBay is a slow burn. eBay, your first year is gonna suck. You're gonna get low balls. You're gonna get scammers. You're gonna just be fighting for every sale. I mean, I was very fortunate for whatever reason. I did really well on eBay my first year. We did over 100 grand in sales. I had quite a good run at eBay. I mean, within 6 months, I knew I was quitting my job because eBay was doing so well. But that's because I kind of diversified my inventory. I saw
Right.
what was selling, what wasn't selling. And then honestly, that first year, I hustled so hard. Like, I wanted to quit my job so much that I was going to thrift stores 5 times a week. I was spending all day on Facebook and Craigslist looking for things to flip. I mean, I I put in 120% of effort into just eBay. So maybe that's why mine took off. I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely have to hustle hard. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. And let's talk about scaling. We all this is why reselling is so cool. You could do it all by yourself. Like I was talking to my friend this past week.
Hmm.
He's doing it all. He's finding the stuff. He's researching it. He's listing it. He's shipping it, storing it, the whole bit. But eventually, most people, and I share this a lot, and we've seen this with the eBLISS clients that are coming in. A lot of people just plateau. Like they get to like
Hmm.
400 or 500 listings, and their entire bedroom or garage or basement's taken over. But then what it always feels like you're walking up a down escalator. You want to get to that next level, but you
Hmm.
can't. And you're only one person. Next thing you know, you're working 65 plus hours a week. You were there. I was there.
Hmm.
How did
Yeah.
you scale? And then I'll get into my story as well.
Um, I niched down. It made my life easier, so I had
Mhm.
more freedom to scale. Like when I first started that first year, we sold thousands of different types of items, right? Like we talked about, like from reel to reel players to record players to, vintage goo gads and, the tape recorders and clothing and everything. Now, the way I was able to go from like those 300 listings to 1,000 listings is by only sourcing clothing. I only focused on that. I stopped diversifying my sourcing opportunities because A, it was making me exhausted. We talked about it again. Like, I don't want to ship reel to reel players. That makes you hate this. That makes it more of a grind. That makes it way more stressful than it needs to be compared to like clothing where you just throw it in a poly bag and you're good to go. You know, it's one of those things to where I got burned out a ton of times. Like within the past 4 years of being an eBay seller, I've been burned out about once to twice every single year. And I'm in a burnout phase right now. Like I'm not interested really in thrifting or reselling at all right now. So I'm focusing on other aspects of my life so I can kind of balance that out, right? Instead of just throwing myself into reselling and making myself constantly miserable, I'm just doing other things that are making me happy on, you know, kind of like 50-50 now instead of being 110% into eBay because I realize when I get burnt out, I just need to step away for a little bit. I need to kind of regain that fire and appreciate eBay some more, right? If that makes sense. Like, so like today, that sale for the $250 jacket that I paid $5 for, that now has invigorated me again to go sourcing, right? I'm excited. I had a win. I had a, yeah, it's like,
You're hooked.
yeah, I want to
I
go
know.
to the thrift store again and find more of those wins. So it's like you need to find what invigorates you and you need to kind of balance your life so you're not just stuck in the daily grind and the daily
Right.
minutia, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you could do your bread and butter. Like consider
Yeah.
that your bread and butter. Where
Right.
you even mentioned you walk now. You don't go to the bins, but you go into regular thrift stores and you walk up
Mm-hmm.
and down. And when I'm on the phone with you, I hear click 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 click, and you're going through all the hangers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you need me to let you go? You're like, no. And I'm like, are you sure? You're like, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Because I could see the fabric. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I know. That's like me looking at electronics. It's like I could pick a piece of plastic up and be like, nope, don't even
Yeah.
look.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that takes time. That takes honestly, it takes years of just
It
pounding
does.
away, as I always say, pounding away on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
educating yourself. And now the databases in our heads
Mm-hmm.
they're not going away. I
No.
mean, and there's really not, I mean, with clothing, there are trends, with electronics,
Mm-hmm.
there are trends, but just stay, remember, like, this is a good brand. These streaming things are great.
Yep, totally.
So,
This is a
yep.
great tip from Flip the World using Terapeak. Whoever doesn't know what Terapeak is on eBay, it's like the really, really high level, let's say, analysis program, right? Like we all know sold listings from the past 90 days. Terapeak is like that on steroids. You could look up to a year's worth of data. You could see sell-through rates. You could see sales by countries, by
Mhm.
very, very specific targeted points. And it really does give you a way better overview of what things are selling and how much of those things are actually selling. Um, I used to have my virtual assistant Loretto go on Terapeak and just create graphs and charts for people, which I should probably start doing that again. But you can really see how brands stack up to each other and what items in those specific brands actually sell. Because I've said it before, like it doesn't matter if something is like Carhartt. That doesn't mean everything in Carhartt is going to
Right.
sell. Same with Nike. Same with all these other brands. Like there are very specific things that sell 10 times better than all their other product lines.
Mhm.
So knowing that is really awesome. It really does help. So
Yeah.
good tip there.
Right. And
No,
also
go.
just I'm just say Flip the World, go follow them on Instagram and also on YouTube. They have channels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he very entertaining. He's a character. This guy should be have his own Netflix series because he does many voices. Follow them.
I love it. Wait,
See,
speaking of following, we're about to hit 4,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm going to be doing a $75 gift card giveaway this week once we hit 4,000. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe now. I'll post another video later today about the details and all that. So that'll be super fun. And then Dave is actually doing a $250 gift card promotion for any new clients for eBLISS until July 3rd. I said that really weird. July 31st. So make sure you go check out their Instagram, eBLISS Reseller Solutions, for all like the details and shoot them a DM if you're interested in using eBLISS for your reselling business. But all that aside, Jessica says, are you still in Utah? Jessica, yes, I am still in Utah for now. There will be an update on my life situation coming here shortly. There are some things that have kind of switched around in my life, and we're going to be calling Colorado our base camp while we travel and do things from there.
mhm.
What do you recommend focus on? Focus on your health. That's for sure. Um, as far as focusing on stuff, if I was you and if I was in like some sort of health crisis and couldn't leave to go source, there's several options in Utah. So Facebook Marketplace is really good. You can find stuff on there.
Right.
KSL, the app is really, really awesome. Sort stuff by newly listed. It's going to be the best way to find items. In fact, I've had way better luck on KSL than I have on Facebook. And then in Salt Lake, there's an auction house called Erical and Olson's or something like that. If you Google Salt Lake freight auctions or liquidations, you'll be able to find them. It's a really great group of guys. So if you want to just buy inventory in bulk, I highly suggest that. It's a really, really big auction house. I mean, it's gigantic, and pretty much all they do is just like liquidations and returns and even like new in box like bulk buys. So definitely check those out in Utah. I think that's going to be the most helpful in your situation. So
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. Like with scaling,
yeah.
there's three parts of a reselling business that we know, but maybe our listeners or viewers don't know. Is there's three sections. It's really the sourcing, which is the fun part. That's up front.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the prepping and the listing, which is in the middle, and then there's the storage and the shipping. So those three components make up a reselling business. Now,
Yeah.
you could wake up at 3 a.m. and answer customer questions and all this stuff. That's fine. That goes without saying. But those are the three main components that let's talk about scaling. As you know, like our business, I rely upon a lot of people to pick for me, and they're picking
Right.
either at the bins, flea markets, storage units, whatever. So that's the only way we could maintain our volume. We ship out 10,000 items a year. Our average selling price is around 40-ish to $50, and we're heavy volume. Now we have heavy overhead,
Mm-hmm.
but if the ability to scale and get the stuff is there, Nick said earlier, I'm interested in scaling. I never gave it much thought. If the inventory is there, give it a shot. Like, do the math in your head, or speak to somebody that may have done this and pick their brain and say, how do I do this? What does it entail? How much is it going to cost? And when it's all said and done, will I be making more than I am making now?
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, the answer is yes, but it takes an investment. Like your reselling business, it is an investment. So you always want to invest in either teaching yourself, watching YouTubes and stuff, educating yourself. But sometimes it does take a little bit of out-of-pocket money to kind of give it a catalyst, just a springboard. So,
and you should be spending money on your business, whether that's on, like you were saying, like inventory, whether that's learning from other people and stealing their techniques, or whether that's just like investing the money to set up a photo studio, right? Like some people, they go through this huge thing when they have to take photos and it's stressful and it like overwhelms them because they don't have a proper place to do it. Well, like go buy a proper table, go buy some proper lights, buy a proper backdrop. So when you go to take pictures, it's really, really simple and it makes you want to do it more. That's my biggest thing. It doesn't matter how much money you have to throw at this in inventory. If you don't have a killer process, it doesn't matter. Like all that stuff goes out the window because you can be given a million items right now. If you don't have a way to list those million items efficiently, that's not going to get anywhere. You're just going to have death piles and you're going to be miserable, right?
And then what happens is people be like, oh, I plateaued. Look at my death piles over there. It's like, well, because you didn't source the proper items and you didn't have anything set up to get through to the items.
True. It's true. Angie says she sometimes has issues with Terapeak. Sometimes it's inaccurate. I'm not sure. I've never really like checked my work on there, right? That's interesting. eBay has a lot of weird little technical flukes with it, so I wouldn't put it past them. So yeah, I mean, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I think Terapeak is cool, especially if you're out in the field and it's like, will this sell? Look it up. Look. You could look a year back. I believe, and but most of the time, as you and I do, we look at the solds on eBay, the 90-day trailing sales history, and it's like, hey, if there's 10 that sold, it'll sell. So that's all we need. So we use that.
Dude, Terapeak is useless for 99% of people. Like it's so nerdy and like you really don't need it. Like I don't think most sellers need Terapeak unless you're super, super analytical or you have a bulk buy opportunity. That's about like the best use of Terapeak. So like say you find a pallet of 1,000 of these water bottles. That's when I would go straight to Terapeak and see like, okay, is there enough volume for me to justify buying a whole pallet of these water bottles, or are only like 20 of them selling a year, right?
Right.
That's really what Terapeak is designed for. Terapeak isn't like this daily use thing to where you're looking up every bread and butter item.
No.
That's a complete waste of your time.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should be doing that. But if you do have some sort of scaling opportunity, it's a great tool, fantastic tool.
Years ago, I would go to auctions and it'd be like specialized equipment, and
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't even find it on Google or so.
Right.
Or if you did, it was just it would tell you what it is. It didn't have a price
Yeah.
associated with it. So if they had a price tag on at the auction for like $100,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's enough to scare anybody. Like, oh, too expensive, I'm not doing it. But if you had Terapeak and you look back a year and said, oh, one of these sold for 1,000, it's worth a
Mm-hmm.
shot. So
Yeah.
that's what I believe Terapeak helps with those type of people. But
Mm-hmm.
so back to like we were talking about, and anyone ask down below and keep on asking questions. That's cool about scaling, just reselling in general. But yeah, those three components: the sourcing, the prepping, the listing, the storage, and the shipping. All right, we just talked about the sourcing. We all get paid, yo. Number 4,
Yeah, I gotta get paid.
so there's 3 now. Get paid, yo. Okay, I forgot about get paid, yo.
Yeah, you gotta get paid.
Typical Jersey guy, get paid. So I could say that you can't. I'm from Jersey.
Say
You
whatever.
can't. You were okay. You lived in New York, but I guess
Yeah.
you get free reign.
I don't count.
So those 3 things, you just you want to work. You want to be efficient. Now let's get into the prepping and the listing. I just mentioned the sourcing and relying upon outsourcing the sourcing to pickers to gather this information. Gather this inventory and bring it to us so we can maintain our sales of 10,000 items a year. Otherwise, I could never do that based on thrifted used items.
Yeah.
So that's outsourcing that. What about listing and prepping and listing? You want to dive into that because I think you could talk about Loretto too.
Yeah. So early on in my eBay career, I wanted to like seem more important than I actually was. So I was using a barcode system, right? Like I was printing out custom barcodes for all my stuff. Like everything was individually packed and I was printing out all these barcodes. I was doing all these things that were wasting my time. I want to tell you guys, like that stuff is a waste of time. Don't be printing custom barcodes for every single item. Like unless you're a huge organization, you definitely do not need that whatsoever. Like that stuff is overkill. So simplify your process as much as possible. Compact it as much as possible. What I do is I actually put everything on a spreadsheet. So I'll do everything in bulk batches. Pretty much, I will create my item title. I'll record what it costs. I'll put the eBLISS SKU code, and then I'll put my description in there, even though for 99% of my listings, I use a very generic description. And guys, if you're interested in more of this, I do have a free course. I'll link it below after this live chat is done, so you guys can grab that. But pretty much that's my process. I get everything in, I put it on the spreadsheet, I take photos at once, I measure everything at once. And then what I was doing, I'm not using him anymore, but I was having my virtual assistant Loretto do listings for us. So I would send him the spreadsheet, I would send him all these photos, and then overnight he would get all my listings done for $5 an hour. Now he's in the Philippines, so $5 an hour is totally fair for this kind of data entry processing job. So if you guys are interested in that as well, that's a great way to scale your business with very little overhead. And it's something that can be easily taught to someone else. Doing listings is a huge waste of time. Doing listings doesn't make you money. Like, yes, getting things listed makes you money, but you doing that physical act doesn't do anything for you. And I know most resellers hate that part. Like I hate it. I know I have to go do listings today and I'm not excited about it. So that's an easy scaling opportunity compared to yours. Like the way you're talking about scaling a business, most of the people in this chat will probably never get to that point, right? Having multiple employees, having multiple warehouses, having, to sell and find over 10,000 items a year. Because
Yeah.
if you're selling 10,000 items a year, you're probably sourcing 15 to 20,000 items a year, right? It's like, it's not like you're only sourcing 10,000 items and you're selling every single one of those items, right? Um, so
I hear
on to
you.
you, man. Like
No,
how your
yeah.
process is crazy. Let's talk about that.
Well, our process is, as you mentioned, we have 5 employees working for us in different areas. We have a full-time processor.
Right.
I assist her with these items as well. But what makes it easier for her is the items coming in the door are almost like repeat items that we sell a lot of. I'm not going to bring this up as a sell, but like stuff like this, little nunchuck, Wii controller, little sleeve. This is $28. I could get this all day long. So sometimes this is like bread and butter. I mean, it's kind of boring, but it's like these are, the pickers that I'm working with, constantly bringing it in. And she puts it together, cleans it, cleans out the battery compartment. Boom. She's done processing those within 3 minutes. So what we do is we actually have a processing sheet. So she'll look it up, she'll write an item number, and then she'll push it to the people that do our listing for us, which bring up a similar item, and they're done within 5 minutes. So all in processing and listing, let's call it 10 minutes an item, and that's industry average. Let's just say, so 10 minutes to process an item. So you do the VA. It's fractions it's pennies on the dollar. I would think you could probably he could probably blow out 10 an hour or something like that.
Even more. All he's doing is copy and pasting listings. So it's like, I'm expecting him to be doing like 15 listings an hour, so yeah.
I think listings are overrated. And by that, I mean, eBay minimum photos 8. You know what? Great. But if you don't, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference depending on what you're selling, because people are going to look based on price and stuff like that. I don't want to get into the nerdy out, geek out, eBay stuff, algorithm. Let's not, because it's boring. There's other channels that get into that. But what really motivates me, I consider myself a reseller. I don't consider myself an eBay expert. And that's the difference. Like you and I are about flipping. We flip and we love it. We see the value, we find it, and we want to get to number 4. It's give me the money, yo, like S from New Jersey said, right? We want to get through the sourcing, the prepping, listings, storage, and shipping, and we want to get the cash that comes out at the very end, which we do. But we set up processes. We know in our minds what we need to do. So that's the prepping and listing. Any other thing you want to add about the prepping and listing, or you want to pull up some questions or anything like that?
No, dude, it's just figuring out what works for you and understanding what your inventory is and having the right setup for it. So like if you're flipping VCR players all the time, but each time you have to test a VCR player, you have to like pull the TV out of the closet or something like that, or like finagle things, like maybe get like a small monitor and set up a testing station. Like make it so simple and so stupid that you actually do it, right? That's the number one tip I can tell everyone. Like find a space, set it up, make it your own, make it cute in your space, like make it like put some stuff on the walls and like have fun with it, going into questions. Can you talk about pirate ship? I'm sending a magnifier that weighs 12 pounds to California. Rates on pirate ship are the same as USPS. So that's that doesn't surprise me. For something like that, FedEx is going to be your best bet, followed by UPS. USPS wouldn't be the cheapest for something like that. Pirate ship only really gives you discounts on dimensional weights. So that's going to be small items that are heavy. Something that's bigger and heavier, you're not going to get a discount. I would highly advise you using USPS to ship that item. FedEx will 110% be cheaper than USPS. Pirate ship does not give you discounts on USPS rates. Let me circle back. they will give you discounts off of USPS retail rates. Like if you were to go to actually USPS and buy those labels from them, yes, Pirate Ship will be cheaper, but Pirate Ship is no cheaper than eBay. Their prices are the exact same on eBay versus Pirate Ship. I think eBay now gives you access to dimensional weights, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong on that. I think that was something that I saw before, but even in that case, like 99% of the time, eBay's rates are going to be like totally fine. You don't need to use Pirate Ship again, except for dimensional rates.
And especially eBay wants you to purchase all the labels through them, and they're going to make it favorable and attractive. Their rates are always better, except for what you just mentioned, is smaller, heavier things. They call it box in a bag. That's the term that they use. Like if you could fit this really heavy thing in a box and protect it, and it fits into a poly mailer, then you could avoid the whole dim weight thing or whatever. I don't even, let's not even get into that too much because I don't want to embarrass myself. So, all right. So let's get to number 3. We just finished number 2 of the process, which is the prepping and the listings. And then we could get into the back end part.
I love it. I just want to say hello to Allison and Dale. Hi guys. Thanks for joining us. And thanks again for Oliver's dinosaur. He loves it. He was playing with it today. So shout out to you guys.
Yes. Allison and Dale. Good stuff.
Love it.
I love their story. Love their stories. Talking about content creation. Oh, let's not go down that. But Allison really benefited from episode 19 of our podcast. She really has been jacking up her content creation on Instagram, I noticed. So she's having fun with it.
They motivated me to start creating a content creator course. I want to start teaching people how to do all this stuff and actually monetize content creation. But that's another story for another time.
Oh, sure. All right. So back to the last step, which is the storage and the shipping. Now, the fun part, as we mentioned about being a reseller, is you could start it in your bedroom. You need a 1-bedroom place. Fine, that's great. Yeah. If you're moving things quickly, you could handle it. That's fine. But eventually, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, this inventory is taking over my house. And then you shared with me, it's a couple months ago. It's like, the temptation after that is, if you're in a smaller place, is to get a storage unit. So then what you just did is created a commute, a job. And when you put it that way, it's true. Do you really want to wake up every morning and look at your sales that happened overnight on eBay and say, darn it? Or do you want to be like, all right, So I used to be like that when I had to ship every day out of our storage unit years ago. I didn't enjoy it. It just became a burden, and it took hours. Like I was, each day I was doing like 3 hours of shipping. We were shipping out like 10 to 15 items, and I was packing up big stuff, medium, small, whatever. So that's the back end of reselling, which is the storage and the shipping. Now I know what works for us, and I know why we created eBLISS, is to have that be an option for those people that don't want to deal with that. We call ourselves the FBA, Amazon FBA for thrifters. Our service doesn't exist out there until we established it, but people love Amazon FBA. And the question is why? And have you ever tried Amazon FBA? Have you ever sent anything in?
Yeah, I used to sell books. I did some retail arbitrage. I think I only did I don't know, maybe $500 in sales on Amazon. It's not my thing. I don't enjoy the Amazon platform. Right. Even though you can definitely get a premium for your items, I don't enjoy big box stores, like sourcing there. I don't like retail arbitrage. I don't like selling books. It just does really nothing for me. I like eBay because it's like the wild, wild west, right? Like you can do everything you want on there. Amazon has way too many rules, way too many restrictions when it comes to gating and products you can actually sell. So for me, it wasn't worth it. That's why I told you when we first met, I'm like, this is like a dream come true. Like, I'm like, you're telling me that I could just pay someone and have them do the worst part of this business for me?
Right. No doubt. But that's why people use Amazon and Amazon FBA for that one component alone, which is the out of sight, out of mind. When it sells, I don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
And the proceeds come through. The cash comes through, and they're very happy.
Yeah.
So that's why we created eBLISS. And this is not a commercial for eBLISS, but we saw the need that a component of the reselling world needed, and that was the storage and the shipping.
Yeah.
So each of those things, the sourcing, the hiring the VA, or hiring a fulfillment company like eBLISS, they're not free,
No.
but either is your freedom. And your freedom. Ooh, that's heavy with the American flag behind you.
Yeah, right. That's good.
That just came to me. I haven't been rehearsing that, but nothing, that stuff isn't free, but neither is your freedom, your time. And as an entrepreneur, as I always say, a solopreneur, as a reseller, most of us are solopreneurs because it's fun. It's like a hobby that, oh man, this is legitimate. I make a couple of grand a month.
Yeah.
You're a solopreneur.
Totally.
To make that leap to become a true entrepreneur, I call it a true entrepreneur, is you have to know when to leverage. Mm-hmm. You have to know when to leverage the mundane, time-sucking activities. And that what you do with that freed up time is up to you. You could sleep an extra 8 hours a week. I don't care. You don't care. Mm-hmm. That's up to you. But that's freedom. That's freedom to go on vacation. That's freedom to source more if you want to grow your business. So goes into scaling. So
yeah. It's, again, this is not an eBLISS pitch whatsoever. This is just totally along the lines of what we wanted to talk about. I've been using you guys as a client, I don't know, for almost 3 months now, something like that.
Probably
now
longer.
We obviously have a working relationship too, but I pay you guys. Like, I pay you the same amount that any other customer would pay you. Like, I do the same exact things that any other customer would do.
Right.
So I could talk pretty openly and about it. Like, I know the experience. I know I've screwed up several times, and I know kind of the whole process of it. The price for some reason has scared people away. But to me, I'm like, okay, wait. I can pay you guys like $4 to $5 an item to fulfill it for me, and I don't have to do it myself. I'm like, here, just take it. Just please take it all. Like, I'm that kind of person. I'd rather make a $5 profit but not do anything over a $10 profit but then waste my morning, right? So I am not here to maximize my profits. eBay is more of a side hustle to me now, mentally and financially, right? Like, I am not trying to make eBay my full-time income. I'm not trying to maximize every penny and refine it. No, like, I'm using eBay as something that's kind of like just an extra little trickle, right? Like, I would rather bring in 25 grand over the course of a year of profit from eBay than $40,000 if I don't have to do anything, right? Because again, with that, whatever amount that I'm going to pay you over the course of a year, say it's, I don't know, like $8,000 to $12,000, depending on my volume, I would rather give you guys that, so then I can work on my other side hustles, right? That's the biggest point of this, is like, I am not a one income stream person, right? Now, if eBay is your only income stream and you have a gigantic garage at home and both you and your husband do it and you have all the free time in the world and you don't care about traveling, you don't care about your freedom, maybe eBLISS won't be for you. But if you're someone that is a very entrepreneurial spirit person, does have multiple side hustles to where you almost feel like you're drowning in everything, right? Like, that's my thing. Like, I have so many things going on right now that if I were to give eBay my full focus, I would just start falling back in all these other projects, which honestly, I care way more about the other projects than I do being a reseller.
Right.
It's just my future goals are not to be a full-time eBay seller. So this is something, or you guys are a company that's let me kind of fulfill those dreams of mine, right? Like, I can still make my money. I can still do the fun part, which is sourcing. Like, that's the only part I enjoy about eBay. I don't enjoy any other aspect of it besides making money.
Yeah.
And the business still maintains itself, right? Because I get lazy. Like, sometimes I just don't want to ship things and then items get delayed and I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's like, it could sell tomorrow and I know I don't have to do anything. It's a beautiful thing. And the beauty, I'll end my rant here in a second. The beauty of you guys compared to Amazon FBA, I don't remember what the Amazon FBA fee is, but let's just call it like 10 to 13%. I think it might be higher in some categories, but I cannot remember what exactly it is. You guys don't charge a percentage of the sales, which is huge, right?
Exactly.
Like I just sold a $250 jacket.
Oh yeah.
Amazon would have cost me, $25 to $30 in fees just to sell that, right?
Right.
You guys have a flat fee, so it doesn't matter if the item costs $5 or if the item costs $3,000. You're
Exactly.
still going to charge me $5 to ship it.
That
It's
and
the
that yeah, this is not a bash on Amazon, not at all, because I think
It might
I
be.
if you make it, you can, but I didn't want
Mhm.
I didn't want to. But
Yeah.
the Amazon FBA model or the concept is about freedom.
Yeah,
Now,
totally.
what they do is they are charging a hefty percentage, and it's tied
Mhm.
to the sales price.
Yep.
Okay, and we don't need to get into the guts of that, but people still say it's still worth it. You know.
Hmm.
Now, a question to you is: let's just say that you had that $250 jacket that you just sold. That we just pushed live here at eBLISS, and you sold it on eBay. Let's just say that our pricing structure or Amazon's pricing structure was tied to the price of that jacket. That would be a little rough, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So in other words, it's let's just I'm going to do the math. Like it's probably $5 to you. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the eBLISS charges $5. That's it.
Yeah.
No matter how much it's sold for.
Yep.
If you sold that through Amazon FBA,
Yeah.
you're probably talking $30.
Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah, if
yeah,
you guys were charging a percentage and then
right.
eBay was charging a percentage, that's immediately like $50 I would have lost off that item just in fees alone.
Hmm.
But I'll pay eBay their 10% cut. That's great. They get their $25, which sucks, but whatever. You guys get your
Hmm.
$5. I get my freedom. If all I have to do is pay someone $5 to have my freedom, you bet your ass I'm gonna do that. Like there's no way around it. Like that's
Yeah.
not even like a question. It's like I've had storage units. I've had a warehouse for 24 hours, which is a crazy story. But
Hmm.
like I know all the costs associated with that. I know what it costs to maintain a warehouse. I know what the commute is to go to a storage unit every single day. And I guarantee you for 99% of sellers, it would be cheaper just to hire you guys to store and ship their items because again, like once you have to hire someone, that's easily going to be
Right.
$1,500 a month, easily bare
Hmm.
minimum that you're paying someone just to do storage,
Right.
and then add in another easy $1,000 a month for a warehouse. You're already at $2,500. By the time they're at $2,500, they can store like thousands of pieces of inventory with you guys, right? It's like
Hmm.
it's crazy.
And let's get off of eBLISS because this is about scaling. So
Yeah.
we broke it down. Let's read this. Dale does love the logistics aspect, so I told him he can still do that, but he'll just be sending to eBLISS. uh, exactly.
Good, good.
That's
That's
true.
listen. It's logistics too. You still
I
have to
know. It's fun.
logistically plan things, and it changes your process. So
Exactly.
it's something that
Yeah.
Dale can have fun with.
Right. So so to round this out, the whole scaling thing, it's like those three components. Well, then everything sells. Then you get the money. Like number
Hmm.
4, show me the money, whatever S said earlier.
Hmm.
That's the fun part, and that's what
Yep.
you roll that back into your business, and that's the key. A lot of if you could afford to do that over the course of a year and a half, 2 years, roll all your profits
Hmm.
back into buying more inventory.
Yep.
The magic number, I always say it all the time, is 1,000 listings. If you have a
Yep.
thousand listings that sell for like on average $40, you're going to be your net income off of that is going to anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 a year. So, and that's it all comes down to buying smart, pricing, and keeping it within your parameters of what you look for. And back to what you do, click, 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 click. Going through a thrift store, you're cherry picking because you already
Hmm.
taught your brain, you already created this database in your brain. Same with me, and don't really waste your time getting into too many categories. Stay
Yep.
within a few and just master them, and go seek out those areas that provide the best means of acquiring that type of inventory.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think in the first year, you should do everything. You should just figure out you should try every single category.
It's true.
But then after year one, be like, okay, like what did I really enjoy selling and sourcing? What did I enjoy testing? Maybe for you, it's you like testing computers, you like taking them apart, you like cleaning them, you like upgrading them, and then selling those. But maybe clothing stresses you out. That's totally fine. Like, no one is expecting you to know every single aspect of reselling or every single niche, because there's niches inside of niches inside of niches. So to think that you can master every single category, that's
Mhm.
delusional. There's not a seller in the world that does that. And if you look at all the high volume sellers on eBay, they're pretty much niched down more than you can ever imagine. Like, think about the tech and sports guy. He's one of the biggest eBay resellers in the world. Like, this guy sells so much stuff, and all he sells is clothing, right? Like, that's pretty much all he does. Like, that's his bread and butter, and he lists so much of it. It's knowing your market, it's knowing what you can source in your local area, and it's understanding what you actually want to source and sell. So
Mhm.
that's my biggest takeaway from all that, you know.
Yeah. And it's okay to say I don't need to scale. If you
Yeah.
feel like, hey, this is fine, making $1,000, it's not worth sourcing more to
Yeah.
make 3,000 a month. I'll sit on the 1,000.
Yeah.
Continue it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Reselling is going to probably triple. Don't quote me on that, but the reselling business, I just saw something the other day. I wish I had the screen. I could bring it up. It's going to triple like within the next like 5 years. There's so much out there. There's so many items that it needs to be, call it whatever you want, repurposed, resold.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an industry in itself that is
Yeah.
booming. It's growing, and the freedom that it allows is amazing. And one last thing, we've spoken to many eBLISS potential clients, and some of them are semi-retired,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever their fixed income is coming in, they look at this reselling adventure, hobby, game, whatever you want to call it, as real money. And people, to make an extra 20 grand a year, that's
Yeah.
sometimes that's huge, man. That's the difference
Yeah.
between saying I could retire now because I could get Social Security, and I could get this little side hustle thing going for
Mm-hmm.
20 to 30 grand a year. That's amazing. And I love that because you did it yourself. You're a solopreneur,
Yep.
and you got to the point, remember, maybe you have 400 listings, and then it's like, you know what, let me outsource a little bit so I have my freedom now, so I could go on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Dude, an extra 20 grand a year, that could be, 20 mini vacations. That could be 4 really like
Mhm.
baller vacations to where you're just blowing $5,000 every quarter on a crazy vacation, right? Like, that could be a new car every year. Like, it could be a lot of things. Um, Andy says, while we talk about saving the environment, I'm surprised reselling isn't more popular. The same people about talking about saving the environment, they hate capitalism, so you probably won't catch them reselling. So we're gonna leave that one there, but it's kind of sad and true. It's a
Hey,
never-ending battle with these people. You never know what they're gonna complain about this year, but
we did a good podcast on that. I forget the
we did.
episode. It was like episode 16. We talked about that. Like, why is reselling bad? Why do people
Yeah,
put it down? Why are people shaming us?
I don't
And
know.
you even said, like, you get bashed on TikTok and all this stuff by saying,
Mhm.
that Louis Vuitton pocketbook really needed to go to a better home. Like it's just crazy.
It's so
But
funny, man.
can we just be honest? We resell to make money.
Yeah, I'm not trying to save the environment. I'm trying to
Okay.
make some
I
money
mean,
and be free.
please.
Yeah, listen, like, saving the environment is great and all. Like, if that's your goal in life, that's fantastic. My goal in life is to be free and to be here with my family. I don't really have any like wishy-washy like dreams of saving anything, you
So
know.
you don't need to virtue signal that you're
I
you're
don't.
okay. Good. All right.
I don't need it. I don't need it. Hubby will retire in
Awesome.
4 to 5 years. I'm hoping to be a serious reseller by then. And she's still looking for a mentor. Look at that. Maybe we'll be
Hmm.
co-mentors. But Angie actually started a YouTube channel as well. So Angie, if you do want to drop the link to your YouTube channel, I will post it on here, and everyone can go follow her, because maybe in 4 to 5 years, Angie will be a full-time reseller and YouTuber, right? So if she could talk about reselling on YouTube, make some extra money there, and make the world go around. So shout out to you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Love it.
Actually, you and I are going to do a podcast. It's not dropping tomorrow, but this week we're going to talk about scaling and outsourcing as well. We're going to get into a little bit more detail. So when to outsource, because that's the whole thing about when you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. It should be about freedom. It should not always be about the money and earning. So
no, that's not why we got into this. So we didn't start being resellers to create jobs for ourselves. You know, every smart entrepreneur, they hire help. They refine their process. They make their life easier because again, if you're working in your business, you can't be working on your business. That's a key takeaway too that I want to just push to everyone. It's like, think about how you can step away. Because if you have to do every single aspect yourself, it's not a business. It's not a business whatsoever. It's just you having a job that you constantly repeat. But once you have processes, once you have employees that do things for you, that's a real business. That all of a sudden becomes tangible. That's something to where you can write a guidebook or a handbook and now you have something to sell to people, right? So just think about it that way, right? Being a reseller from your bedroom, it's not a business. You're making money online, but you're not like legit, you know? I'm not telling everyone they need to go legit, but they need to think about the processes that legit people do to step away to get their freedom back. That's so important.
Dude, this past week, I know we're coming on an hour, we'll end soon, but this past week we spoke to a potential eBLISS client who says, I want to use you guys from the onset, for the outset, or from the get-go, whatever you want to call it, from the beginning, you know, because I want to incorporate that into my process. I don't want to have to build it up, then undo or change or adapt to fit something that I already became accustomed to and I'm stubborn about. That person said, I am going to layer on this. Then they started talking about the VA. And I'm like, man, this person really sees the potential. And I know it is, because they're looking like, when you ski, you look down the hill out in front of you. You don't look at the tips of your skis because you're going to wipe out. So that this person's looking downhill, or whatever you want to call it, and they see the potential and they want to get to that max potential, 1,000+ listings. They want the 30,000 a year income. And it definitely could happen as long as they're consistent for a year getting the inventory.
Yeah, listen, like eBay is in a transitional phase. They're obviously trying to compete with Amazon FBA. They're trying to be known for something else, right? Like eBay is the oldest one in the bunch, and they've always been like this kind of like ragtag, like virtual, like dumpster diving kind of garage sale type place, right? That's kind of the notion that people still have in their minds about eBay, but most people don't understand how refined eBay is trying to be at this point with their payments, with what they expect from sellers, right? Like it's no longer that you could just send cash in the envelope and, you know, pray to God that you get something a month later. It's like, no, you have to ship it within 24 hours. You have to do it within this time frame, or else you're not going to do that great on eBay, which is a good thing. A lot of people hate that about eBay, especially like those old curmudgeonous sellers that we can't stand. They think that this is like so bad and it's so evil. It's like, no, dude, it's 2021. Things have changed. Just because you haven't changed and adapted your business since the 1980s doesn't mean anything. You're the problem. It's not eBay, right? So that stuff drives me crazy. But before I go on a rant like that,
I know. I'll cut you off.
Allison, shoot me a DM on Instagram later. I will give you my virtual assistant's contact information. I actually talked to him the other day, and he could definitely take on a few more eBay people. Very fair, awesome guy. I can kind of give you a rundown of the process him and I were using, and you could probably mimic that, or you could just create your own process. He speaks really great English. There'll be no communication issues whatsoever, and it'll be super affordable. So yeah, shoot me a DM later and we'll talk about it. Angie says she did her first live with another reseller. Congratulations. That's awesome. Cool. That's a big deal. Going live is really stressful. I mean, you know, Dave and I, we get stressed about this. I am on camera all the time. We do podcasts all the time, but going live is still another level of stress. So if you can master these lives, you can master being on camera, because it's 10 times easier just to know that no one's watching you while you record stuff in your living room, rather than it is like even just seven
Right.
people being in here right now. It's like there's seven people that are watching us or listening to us. So if I say something crazy, I can't just like go back and be like, oh, you guys didn't actually hear that. You know, I have to really watch myself.
Gosh, like my high school algebra teacher could be watching. Oh my
You
gosh.
never know. Yeah.
I got to watch what I say.
I love it, man.
On the podcast, I could get away with it because I know
Yeah.
you could edit stuff out if it gets bad.
Well, our
So,
podcast isn't edited either. So if you guys do want to enjoy us every Monday morning, we drop
yeah.
a new episode. It's called the Hustler Mindset Podcast. We talk about all things life, business, motivation, self-help, all that good, wishy gushy stuff.
Yep.
But again, I'm about to hit 4,000 subs on YouTube. We're going to do a $75 gift card giveaway. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribed. Tell all your friends. I'm going to release the details about that most likely later today. And yeah, Dave is running a promotion at eBLISS for all new clients until July 31st. Every single new person will get a $250 Visa gift card. So if you've been thinking about using eBLISS, or maybe if this has interested you in eBLISS whatsoever, definitely reach out to Dave. And there we go. And as we're wrapping this up, so there we go. We're going to end it on a gushy note. Angie, I really appreciate you so much. Since day one, you've been a great supporter, and you've been very nice to me and my family. So much love, and I wish you nothing but success. And to that one person that disliked this video, I wish you nothing but success either, because the haters are what motivate us, and the haters will hate. So Dave,
awesome.
Actually,
Wow.
let's end it. Look at that. At least I just filled out another box out to eBLISS.
I know
I'm
this
about to
person.
go. Yeah, I'm about to go do the same. So that's what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. But
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Elisa. And I'm glad you and Lori have been working closely together. That's another great story. I'm not allowed to share stories, but I am happy that Elisa, I got to watch what I say because it's live, but that's an awesome story. I am anxious to see how well she pops her eBay business because she's got potential there. Very good.
We go. I love it, man. Unless you have something else for these people, we're going to peace out.
I'm just going to say eBay, 187 million buyers on the platform. You could sell clothes, all this stuff. That's why we sell on it. If we just sold clothes, women's clothes, yeah, we may cross post and do that stuff, but we're not pro any platform. But don't be afraid to just learn eBay and just go for it, because that's where the money is.
It's the most people. It's the most eyeballs besides Amazon. But there we go, man. I think that's a good number, good statistic. And I will see you later.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Adios.